So do you have to get off to your soccer thing or whatever you said you were going
No, no,
to?
no, I did not. Soccer got canceled. The weather's crappy or something. So,
Okay, okay. Wait, where are you on the East Coast? Where do you live?
Central.
Give me your address.
Come on over. Let's play. Let's play some games.
Yeah, no, because I was it a big trip then for you to get to DC for the thing for whatever it is, AGDQ. I always say it wrong. Yeah, I said it right.
I mean, you know, that's the nice thing, I guess. Living where I live is I can always just like fly to east, west. You know, like everywhere I fly is only like
an hour or something.
It's it's like a couple hours.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. You know, that's not too bad at all. Okay. But I don't know. I mean, it's I wish I had better internet here. That would be my biggest complaint. But the travel times aren't bad.
I live in the heart of Manhattan, and my internet's been shit for 28 days now. So it's not. I only have a choice of one provider. Believe it or not.
I think it's just America as a whole.
America.
We all have one provider, and they all just say, "What are you gonna do? Go to the next." Oh, nope, there is nobody else.
Nope. Yeah.
Deal with it. This is what you get. Drop your frames. I don't care because you still have to pay me. Like,
right. Well, you know, I didn't want to ask on the podcast because I felt like we beat it to death. But do you think PoE would ever be a game that someone would do it at their speedrunning thing? It's weird because people have always been against it a little bit.
I would be interested in it if I actually was good at the game. The issue that I see is that it's an online game, and I really, you know, disconnects and the server's going down or, you know, kicking you off and just all of those things can, you know, that's like so terrible to have at a
server there
at a GDQ. Right.
Like,
you would need like an offline server. Right.
And I think if you were promoting the game and you asked them, is there a way to do this? I think they could come up with something. You know, honestly, given the free, you know, 300,000 people are watching someone speed run. I mean, I don't know what PoE would get. What are the big games seem like they get huge numbers, and some of the shittier games get 100K. I don't really.
I mean, when I streamed D2 at AGDQ, I got 175,000 people.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a lot of people.
When I streamed at SGDQ, which is a little bit less popular, and my time slot wasn't quite as good, I was still at like 105,000 or something. Okay. So, I mean, you're getting good exposure. Like it's you know, either way, you're gonna have great exposure for the game. So you know, I think that could be something to definitely take to, you know, Chris and them and say, hey, you know, what can we do here, right? What is there some way we can get an offline server to run with? And then I could, you know, first I'd have to go to them, get that approval, then go get the game actually approved to be run in GDQ, and then see, you know, whatever. But I think it would be possible. I think that would be interesting, but I'd have to be good at the game.
Well, I thought about when it was in Washington, I thought about going, but then I looked into the whole thing, and I was like, I mean, the other problem is our best races that's actually really entertaining, in my opinion, is our team that we've had basically the whole time. So we'd have to have 2 or 3 people. I mean, again, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be one thing if I was the person talking what people were doing, since I'm sort of the one who's in charge and tells people what to do a little bit. But somebody else was doing the racing, or like 2 people racing or something. It's what I don't really ever see anyone doing that. You know, like I guess there's a duo. Sometimes there's people doing duo for, like, I don't know, Mario or something. Again,
they do races of that. So they'll do, like, I mean, the most popular one is the Metroid race right at the very end. They always race 3-4 people through Metroid. You know, save or kill the animals style.
Right.
But, you know, throughout they have races here and there. So the issue is if you're going to do an online, like a PC game, they won't race more than 2 people, I believe. So you would only be able to do 2.
Right.
But I don't know if it needs that. I mean, because like I said, it runs very similar to Diablo 2. I think you could do a solo self-found
Malachi normal,
80% Malachi normal. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an hour and X
40 minutes, hopefully.
Hour 40 minutes or something like that.
Time.
And that's like the perfect size. I mean, that's the same as my Diablo 2 Bale runs. You know, they're like, you know, I give like an hour 30 to an hour 45 kill time.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's the same idea, right? You got your RNG, and you don't, you know, but you're gonna get through it in roughly that amount of time.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the run for sure to throw up there.
Okay.
Well, at that time we'll probably have Act 3 out or something, wouldn't we? Or would you just? Are we talking like the next one or the next one coming up, the summer one, or like that soon?
Well, no, I'm saying in whatever.
I was just saying. I was saying the potential in the future.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm running Diablo 2 at SGD.
He's running D2. I'm saying because the 10-act thing will come out. Well, we should get a rebalance of all these things.
Yeah.
And then we see how it goes. Like what if getting back to Oriath is a natural endpoint? So that's 5 acts. If you could do it under 2 hours, maybe it's a natural. We'll have to see how it evolves, because I would be down. I'd be down to go and do it.
I think a lot of people would.
I play the worst class for unfortunately, for just pure timing, unfortunately. But no. Anyway, was just curious about it, because I think it'd be good for PoE to have the exposure, because I'm sure it was good for D2 when you guys went.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Because was there someone speedrunning before? I don't remember it happening before.
Yeah, I mean, I was speedrunning a little bit before, and before that was Nightfall speedrunning.
Okay.
But he was doing like kind of on off stuff. Then me and a guy named Teo kind of came in and kind of ramped it up and started really pushing the times on it.
Yeah, it became formalized.
Right. It became more formalized after that point. And then we brought in, and then like Ryu started up and we started getting more people kind of really jumping into it. But I would definitely say HGDQ was a huge like, oh, Diablo 2 is a game that people speedrun. That was a huge like showcase of that, and I think that did a lot for the community.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. You can go about your business, go about your day. I think Nugi's still streaming, so we need to let him go off and.
No, it's fine. Like if you want to talk, then we can talk. Like
we can talk.
Let's talk, Nugi. How are you doing today, man?
How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm pushing the Solar Self-Found ladder right now.
Oh, nice.
Hit 91.
What level are you at? 91?
Yeah, so
is this the 100? Oh, it's 100 solo self-found?
Yes. I've hit almost 98, 94, 94, 94, 90 something. I have so many characters. I don't even know at this point.
So is that 98 character dead? Or is that the one that's going
died.
He died. Oh,
yeah.
rip. So where's your best place to farm that's safe for trying to get to 100?
That's safe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Strand?
The answer is Strand.
Strand. Oh, the damn Strand runs.
It's always Strand. It's going to be Strand. I mean, the other answer is Atoll. That's what
it's never really safe though, right? Because
no, none of it's really ever safe. If you're rolling maps to sustain, you're in danger all the time, in my opinion.
So are you always identifying the map and just checking for your like?
But you kind of have to.
What are your no-go mods?
Well, it depends. Like there are mods on there that just break your character. So if you don't ID them, then some builds have hardly no downside at all to where you can run on ID maps.
My build has no downside. There's literally no mod that I can't do. So besides maybe Blood Magic, which is the rarest. Yeah. I think it's the rarest mod.
What's Blood Magic?
Yeah.
Blood Magic it gives you Blood Magic on the tree, so that everything's casted with life.
All your mana disappears.
Your mana
and
disappears.
You cast off life.
Oh, so if you're running Energy Shield, then you can't do it, I guess.
I actually don't know how that works. Yeah, well, what happens then at that point?
They say it doesn't exist. Everybody says it got
gone. Oh, okay.
Is it gone now? Okay,
yeah, well, you could kill yourself if you cast.
I've gone to I haven't seen it, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure you could kill yourself if you cast anything on Blood Magic back in the day.
Okay.
So you would just die if you were CI.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you can even cast later on, and then I don't know. It changed.
Yeah.
Right. So like my character, I have nothing since that was removed. That would be literally the only thing. There's no mod that I couldn't do. Obviously, there's a point where I don't know if you can roll triple damage and minus max, triple added damage and minus max. Okay, so that would be something that you wouldn't want to do necessarily, but
there are things where you basically, if anything hits you that has any good base damage, you die.
Yeah. So don't run those.
So if it's triple damage, you abort immediately, basically.
And also the thing we do now is we run all the sextants and all these other additive mods that kind of like that adds like more damage you take, or just adds the amount of monsters that come, or gives you beyond spawns all the time. And so you have all this craziness coming in together, and then you have these flicker strike monsters that then can spawn out of other monsters dying. Well, you can't avoid that. And so if you have all these like mods you don't know of, you just
Yeah.
Also, you don't want to have temp chains on you. So if you don't ID, like let's say you hate running temp chains, well, you don't want to run the temp chains maps that could occur, and so you just.
You know, I love temp chains. I think temp chains is the best mod. I would have temp chains on every fucking map, ever. Because my character has so much nowadays. Because you go at the speed of the Flash, so my character goes 1,000,000 miles an hour, and temp chain. My golems aren't affected by temp chains. They're the ones doing all the.
So temp chains is the one that slows you, right? That's the That's the curse, that the purple one that the stupid boss in Act 4 puts on you. One of the 3 curses.
Oh yes, exactly. Yeah, is that Dodra?
Dodra, is that the name?
Dodra.
Okay.
Tongue or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dodra.
Okay.
Yeah, you get vulnerability, enfeeble, and temp chains. I think in that. So it's temp chains is the purple. Yeah. Enfeeble is the green, and fallen is the red. So.
Okay. So, okay. But for you, I guess if your golems don't get affected by it, then you don't care at all.
Yeah, minion builds it's the same thing with SRS. Any minion build are not affected by they're not affected by the curses.
Right. You personally are, but the minions. Yeah. So it's free. It's free quantity. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. But it's funny with people going nuts about the Strand. I mean, I was saying, we talked about this last week. I'm actually, if they nerf something like that, I wouldn't care, because I would still run this map, because this is the actual like ledge, the level 6 zone. Yeah. I would run ledge all day, every day. I love it. There's skeletons. It's linear. You know what it is I think it's the same thing where you talk, because I grew up a D2 and I kind of love D2.
Right.
That aspect of there's less bullshit going on.
Yep.
Ledge is the minimal. Like if you just, I mean, for me. Even though I love these games, killing is killing, or mapping is mapping. I mean, people always want to, like, again, if you drive a Ferrari every day, it becomes driving a car. Right. It's not the fact that you have a Ferrari. If you drive it once in your lifetime, it's the coolest
thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, okay, I've played 15,000 hours of PoE. I think I know what mapping and like killing monsters is. I want to just do the most like chill. I can just like pew across the map and kill things at any pace or whatever. You know, I guess people want to be wowed all the time. So, and I understand that. I totally get it.
Right.
Yeah. It's so Strand for me. Strand is basically ledge. It's just a slightly different version of that.
Okay.
Like Atoll is actually ledge, just in a circle. That map. And I think there's 1 or 2 other ones like that. Those are all great. For me, I'd run those anyway, regardless.
Court, Plateau, and Mesa.
Exactly.
And there's plenty of those around.
There's plenty of those. Yeah. So what has killed you so far? Have you been? You're playing Legacy.
I've died a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
I've died.
Good.
My character's died, I think, like 58 times or something.
Good.
No, that was my speedrun character. My speedrun character died. I tried to speedrun through, and at 58 times, but that was like pushing it in the stupidest ways ever.
Nice.
So it was like great. Level like 30 at Malachi or something ridiculous. Like I underleveled and everything. It was a poor choice.
Well, you gotta try it before you know it.
Right, exactly. But that's like the perfect thing, right? Like you gotta try. And even then, I died like 1 time to Malachi. He wasn't the biggest like death consumer.
What was was there one thing that was killing you a lot?
The stupid whoever cast SRS. Oh my gosh, what boss was it?
Was it Beyond boss?
It wasn't Fairgraves. It was it wasn't a Beyond. I was in like Act.
You Calm.
Was it in the arena? Yeah, I think it was in the arena.
It's Calm. It's in the volcano.
Phase 2.
Yes.
And his spawns come out.
Yeah, all of his SRS spawns came out, and I literally couldn't do anything. The second I entered, I just fell over and died. Over and over. I think I got like 15 deaths on that, because it was just like they moved so fast. Like there was no like you couldn't run away, and that's the kind of stuff that like kind of bugs me. Like if you have zero chance to even like run or anything like that, you're just like always blowing up and dying to it.
Well, was your fire res low? Because I think they do fire damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have great fire res.
They're probably like SRSs, so they're probably like split fist and fire.
Right.
Okay.
So I gotta improve my fire risk for sure. And, probably be a slightly higher level when I'm at that point. Like, I get it. That was a learning experience for me, but that was just like the worst. I just kept, I was like doing fine on that fight, doing fine. And then like he shifted into that phase and then it was just over. Right. It was just like nonstop deaths.
That is that's a good point though. Like I really would. This is people complain about it, like a tutorial or something, because saying, "Hey, you're 8 levels under the zone," because you will, if you're really that much lower than boss, and
I was 8
you're
levels.
gonna get so you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah,
8 levels is too. Like maybe you could do 5. Like even really then, even if we're speed running and you're doing comb, I think comb's a 37 zone.
You never really do
35 or 36, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So that's way too low. If you were really 29 or 30 for it, you were gonna get fucked up.
Oh yeah. I mean, so like that's on me. That's pushing speedrunning, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That being said, let's see. On my main character that I've been, my like Ice Nova Witch or whatever, that I've been playing through. She's died to, I mean, she's kind of died to a handful of things. There's a lot of like those, just like, I have really low life, I'm running like mapping at like 3k life or something.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that just one shot me. And so I just kind of blow up.
What's your primary defense? Not getting hit?
Not getting hit, yeah, dodging. That's I don't have any like energy shield or anything. That is all of my. I have MOM, but I only have like 1,000 mana or something, so it's pretty worthless. So my primary defense is literally like, don't get hit, and hit first sort of thing. So I kind of expect a lot of those deaths. So I'm not like really salty about them or anything. Like I just kind of, but it's good learning stuff. Like that's the thing. You get in there, and you just go have fun with it. You learn about the game, and it's whatever.
Yeah, that's the best part. That's the most fun. I mean, it's unfortunate that some of the things. I mean, I think it's a natural progression, but some of the things that we sort of came up with as a race group have been formally put into the game and remove some of what I enjoyed about racing. Like where the waypoints are right now are actually from places where our group would leave a TP, run past to do something, and then TP back, or zone back in or whatever. So then they were just like, well, or are places where we would reset. Like I still remember the first time we had the conversation. We're like, why don't we just leave 2 TPs up? So that we don't consume a TP when we go through, because as long as you don't go through your TP, and then we can
it's always up. It's always
up, and then infinite TP, and then reset the zone. And I was like, wow, I can't believe we haven't been doing this. And of course, it always seems obvious after someone brings it up is what you should do. But then now DGG just put a waypoint in every single spot like that, where we were doing that stuff. Now has a waypoint.
Yeah,
and so it makes the game better for sure.
Every place where there's like
you invented waypoints is what it was.
Yes, in fact, actually, yes. The waypoints were in some really terrible locations.
They didn't really make any sense. Like they're in the zone. They're often in the zone after where there's the split, which didn't make any sense.
Made no sense. So yes, Moore's waypointed first is what the meme is going to be now. But yeah, I mean. They really it's just one of the but I'm saying it's not just us. Other people have come up with stuff, whatever it is, from the racing, because racing is of course pushing the envelope. And then it's fun, and at the same time you're like, I'm nostalgic for the old days when you had to run all the way through it without dying, and then you could TP back and get the thing, and I mean it's still fun, of course, but
Yep. I mean that's I think that's the fun of speedrunning, is you get to invent those things. You get to create and really come up with, I think that it's not absurd that I killed Malachi at level 30. I think it's absurd, but at the same time, I don't think it's absurd, because when I got to Malachi, I only died one time, and it wasn't, it was like a meh kind of death. Right, but like I killed Malachi like super under leveled, and it was fine.
You're only wrong if there was something you would have gotten in the next 3 or 4 skill levels.
Right.
So therefore, you should have been 1 level higher,
Exactly.
5 zones ago. So then the whole time as you get XP to refill your charges, you would be higher level. That's only way it would matter if you would speed up your kill of Malachi, which people don't get, and that's of course that's
well, the end goal is just killing Malachi. It doesn't matter what level you are.
Right.
Then it's all about how fast you can get there.
Just have to be whatever is the correct level that you need to be to kill Malachi as fast as possible. Is it 30? Is it 34? Is it 28?
Right.
Who knows?
Well, like so I think the record for in an actual, because there are boss kill races, and I think the number is really insane. Whatever the number, I could look it up. Whatever it is for a Malachi kill, someone did it in an hour 40 something. Was it the Vault Boots run, or was that a not of a race? The guy with the Vault Boots. That's what I don't remember. Do you know, Dougie?
What? I didn't hear.
For that 140 run, was it the
whatever
Vault
Malachi kill?
Oh,
was that an actual race, or was that he was just doing a run?
I actually don't know.
I'll have to find it. But the point being, though, there are times when somebody kills, like I'm trying to remember the time I lost a piety kill. I play Marauder. Marauder's slow, but let's say the number is normally, I don't know, hour 30 or something like that.
Right.
And I think I killed it, or the best time is an hour 30, and I killed it at 122. So I beat the previous world record by 8 minutes. And Grindus, who's another really great long-term racer, he beat me by 15 seconds. And I was like, motherfucker, God damn it. And then I look, he's level 21 and I'm 27. Whatever you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I was so far ahead and doing so well, he just stopped killing anything.
Yeah, he just blitzed through.
Blitzed through, and it worked. He didn't die. So
it's all about you hit that one threshold that enables you to kill, and then you go.
Right.
That's it. Right. Diablo 2, you have to get to level 20 to complete the Ancients to kill Baal. That is required. If you don't get to level 20, you can't beat the Ancients, you can't finish the game. We literally don't level any bit further than exactly when you get to 20. You get to 20 and you zip right to Baal and kill Baal, and that is it. There is never a point in any of the normal speedruns on any character where you stop and go, I'm going to level up a little bit more here and get more. No, you get as basically minimal as you can get. That being said, if you were to take off that level 20 cap, level 18 would still probably be a requirement just from the skills you get, right? Like teleport, things like that. Yeah. You just zip through to 18, boom, teleport through the rest of the game till you get to Baal and kill him.
It's like every, the Mistress of Whatever kill, Morris?
Which kill?
Mistress of Flame. Yeah, it's like literally that race is exactly that every time.
Yes. Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm curious to when hopefully we have a racing weekend at least. You could try some of these races, MrLlama, because I'm curious to see what you think about it from a new perspective. Well, I don't know. That's a bad example though, because he'll be total dog shit at it. There's no place for him to practice.
Oh no, I'm saying it's nothing against
it's because these are specific races that are like a game within a game where you can only practice them. They have their own tiles and their own setup and their own drops and their own all this stuff. And like for some reason they've never provided a way for people to practice them, which I don't understand. People have been asking for it, and they say it's because you'll get bored of it.
Right.
I mean, okay, but then also new players could come.
It's like saying, well, if you play Strand for too long, you're gonna get bored. Like, come on, like, are you serious? What?
The people are doing it, so yeah.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I mean that's the same thing. It's interesting because PoE used to be very, very not that. Even though it was a speed run, it was at max level, not boss kill. And I actually don't like the boss kill aspect to it because I think it makes it. Well, no, let me rephrase. I think without some sort of level something, it kind of makes it really stupid a bit because. I don't know, like that person rushing at level 18 to kill, say, Piety, which is a level 28 kill. Right. Sure, they can do it, but it just becomes, I don't know, like just one in 100 it's ever going to work out. And again, it's only because PoE is so binary, right? And it's not.
Nugi disagrees.
Yeah, but the trick is to make it so that you can make it work every time, right? Or close to it.
Close to, yeah.
Close to it, but they can't though, right? They do it once maybe, and then every other time because I think it was Carve killed Piety with a medium health pot on, which is literally just I'm functionally an idiot doing this.
That is kind of
Like,
stupid.
I like
though.
Car. He's a great racer.
But that's just. I'm sorry. Whenever he puts himself in that situation, he's putting himself in the fair. Like killing Piety with a medium potion is like, I don't know. He did something wrong at some point. That's him making a mistake at some point.
That's why I don't like the direction of PoE right now, because you can do those things. 2 or 3 years ago, you had a medium pot on, you were going to fail 100% of the time. But now, because you could throw a fire trap or whatever the current meta thing is and kill the boss in 2 rounds, your health globe is all that matters. You're never going to heal up, right? You'll go to town before you.
Or the problem is like just getting to Piety and taking hits throughout the thing. And if you have a medium health pot, you have to stop all the time, or if you take any hit, like rather than you just actually buy a proper potion that you can use at level 12, whatever, you have a greater.
That's still 10 seconds. That's 10 seconds of time by the rationale of right now. Because
no, but it's not gonna speed him up. The fact that he can't take a single hit, it's never gonna speed him up.
I understand. I'm just saying by the laws of physics, you can't gain time.
It's like,
so anything he does that reduces the amount of things he has to click and pick up.
Right.
I gives him time as long as he doesn't die, I guess. The only reason that that's possible is because the game has gotten to the point where characters move so fast, hit so hard, and can avoid so much stuff. Right. Kind of what MrLlama was talking about how like I don't know, it's a little too fast. So that's sort of, I mean, that's the caster meta.
I don't know. It's always been like this though, and you will always, as a speedrunner, gravitates toward that. Whether how much you ever slow down, if the slower the game becomes, I don't know. You always try and just find the fastest way, whether you like it or not.
Okay, but so my point being though, you take those people who play caster, and then you tell them to beat me on Marauder, and they will never beat me. You cannot play like that, right? And the way Marauder plays right now, which is still insane compared to
okay, I'll tell you what they're going to do, and what everyone else does. You find the X amount of weapon that's needed to kill X thing, right? So let's say Piety is the thing. You figure out, okay, I need this specific weapon. When I have this weapon and this node, I can just fucking balls to the wall, jump over everything, and then we kill him.
Sure. And that's what Hellman, right? So Duelist is the better, or Marauder's a shitty duelist, or however you want to think about it, and that's why Hellman wins those races a lot, because he leap slams to the end. He's strong enough to kill on the way, and then he's able to take down the boss so fast. But I was just saying, what Hellman does right now would not have been possible a year or 2 ago, right? Or well, let's say 3 years ago.
Well, it changes obviously. Like we can push it. I do agree that we can push it a little bit further, but I don't think that that the meta game has necessarily changed. It's still the same thing we're trying to do. We're just able to do it a little bit faster.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this. We're plumbing the depths of the PoE race meta. So I feel very passionate about this, and I hope we get racing back. It's such a we're in this weird place where racing was such a big component of PoE, and in fact, that's the main reason I liked PoE, because there was this thing to do once a week, Saturday. I think 3 p.m. my time was a 3-hour race, and people sometimes. I get a little bit of shit from people because I might say something about, Moors did it first, the whole meme. But the fact of it is, there was no solo races, did not exist. There was just a race league. Yeah. You shut up, you did whatever the fuck you wanted. Whoever was the highest level won.
That's the winner.
And that was the winner. So then I was like, wait a minute, there's a group of people who race together. And so since they're grouped, you can't beat them as a solo player. At least back then, it was impossible. Now you actually might be. Nowadays, a solo person can beat a group that's not well organized. Right. So they balanced that a little bit better. But there was so I formed a group because I was like, I'm sick of losing. And then we started winning everything, because their group didn't always win everything. We started winning everything. And then people were like, well, that sucks. Can we have solo races? Because otherwise there's no. And so then that's how we got solo races. And I think.
See, I'm on board with the solo races, though.
Yeah, solo races. Yeah. I mean, party races are fun. You just have to. The problem is. You have to get a group of people together, and then on top of that, there's our group, and we basically, Ray's Carve and some other people do they group too, but in fair, I don't know what they would say. I'm not trying.
They've got Rays and stuff.
They've got Rays. There's nothing to do with that. We just have years of experience, so it's going to be almost impossible to beat us if we're playing well. Right. And I think so. Solo is where it's at, and I think that's good. We should have that, but if for some reason they've been like, they think it hurts the leagues or something if they have race racing. I don't know. So we're in a strange place when it was such a big part of early PoE, and they've kind of completely, because I've never pushed for 100 because I think it's the most boring thing in the history of the world. Literally,
don't you have 100 though.
I just got one. Yeah. Why do I have one? Because I have no racing element. This is my race.
Oh, like now, like you didn't before, but now you're like, well, there's nothing else to do except go.
There's literally nothing else for me to do to sort of get that competitive thing going. And I think I would have had a real shot. Would I have been first? Right. No, because I don't push, and you have to have a group and all this stuff. But I think I would have been top 5. My internet just took a dump. It's been taking a dump for 28 days. It's been great.
I know all about that.
Yeah, but it's like, so what are they going to do to give people that thing? Because I would do this again if there's no other racing. But
I think that the community is going to. I think, especially with the D2 people coming over as well, putting so much exposure to speedrunning, and with the slowly growing or quickly growing speedrunning community within PoE, right? Okay. So racing has been out for a while. And now you're seeing all these people want to do the speedrun. I think it's just going to grow out of the void of racing being gone. We're going to create something to fill that void. But
my problem with that though is, why should we have to do? I'm thrilled if we put it together, but in terms of native support, I actually have a problem with us just timing ourselves when I know that a better system exists, and all it takes is as Chris said, I can create a league in like 5 minutes.
Okay, I would want personally to have them implement better tools for us.
Right. Like you have your own way to start a race.
Yes. Correct. Okay. So one thing I was thinking here is, we have the solo self found, and so now you can tag it for a solo self found race. So you can only way to create this character is if there is it deletes everything in solo self found or something like that, right? So you can make sure that the solo self found stuff has nothing else in it. You can't have had a second character you died on first. Whenever you start the race thing, that's it.
Right.
And then
it's Iron Man or whatever.
Yes, and it just tracks whenever you get a kill, it tracks the play on that character. Done.
Yep. Right.
That's all you need. That's all the support you need. You just need to have that, and then everything else is we can track everything on we can make the website, whatever. If GG makes the website, well, all power to them, and we would love that. But if they don't, we're going to make it ourselves.
Take care of it. Yeah. Well, I told you my idea for a race league that I still really want to happen is solo self-found. So it's a race, or however it's a league, but you can only play X hours of the day. So over 2 weeks, let's just say you can play 2 hours a day. So that means, what is this? That's 28 hours. Just saying, I'm not saying that's fixed. I'm just saying this is just the example. So you could play 28 hours straight, if that's what you want to do, or you could play 3 hours a day, play 5 hours a day, play 2 hours a day, whatever you want to do. So the limiting factor is how efficient you are in the race, not how much time you have to do stuff, if that makes sense. And I would, because that sort of takes the middle ground of the people who can't make every race and can't race for a week. 1 week race, the problem is people feel like they can't be competitive because ETUP, plays 16 hours a day, right? And so I hope that they implement some of these things where it's hands off for them. But again, all we'd have to see, what is your played time on the character? An official log of that, as long as you didn't go above 28 hours and 30 seconds or something. As long as you didn't go above 28 hours, your character counts. And then we just see who got the highest XP.
So you're saying just highest level in X hours.
As an alternative thing, right?
I think that would be fun.
Yeah, right. In X hours, what is the highest level you can get? However, you quote unquote exploit somebody to get XP or whatever. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter.
Counts. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, everything counts. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, and I like boss kills, but unfortunately, that's only going to be, unless you make it Shaper or it's Ziri, it's going to be less than 6 or 7 hours. Right. So that's really like a one sitting thing. So the question is, how do you make a longer term sort of, speed running XP something or other? So
yeah, I think this is something that I as well see that I think the PoE community can bring that Diablo 2 can't quite bring as well, right? Yeah, we could kind of do how long can you level on a Diablo 2 character in X hours? How high can you get? Okay, you did 20 hours. But you're self-timing it. You have to stop your timer, restart it later, stop it. It's kind of more annoying than opposed to just having the character built in /time. And then, it hit 20 hours. It's going to cap it immediately and record that time and whatever.
Right.
So I think I think that's something that can be brought into the system that's amazing. I think the ability to just say start race within the game and it counts you down and then you guys race from there is amazing. You know, I think there's a lot of cool stuff like that. But I don't mind until that point using like live split for you know, a normal Malachi, a Hell Mal or Merciless Malachi, whatever. You know, and I think that's something that us D2 speedrunners will bring to the PoE community. That might challenge you. That might say, hey, are you the fastest Marauder? Let's go. You know, like,
my
you know,
answer's
right
good.
now,
luck.
maybe, but you know.
Good luck, sir.
But give me a month or give Raze 100 years and you never know things like that.
Oh!
Raze
would never race on Marauder if he had 100 years. He's Scion, and I don't know. I guess
are we gonna have a challenge accepted right now? Is that is
Uh-oh.
Raze here? Come on, I wanna have this right now.
What is that? What is the middle ground class we would race on? Ranger or something, where we both don't have an advantage?
Ooh,
okay.
That I would watch that.
Okay, I've raced on Ranger though before, so I don't know if that's unfair.
What have you not raced on?
There's literally nothing.
Okay, what's your least raced character?
Actually, Ranger would be my least race. That's why I said.
All right, there you go. Ranger race it is.
Ranger race. Ranger has been the worst. Basically, only Marauder has been a worse class than Ranger. But even then, Marauder's been the best class in some specific races.
Right. And you've raced a lot of Marauder, though, right? So
we were good for one season with Spectral Throw.
Right. Ranger was good for Ranger was top for one season with Spectral. So Marauder has never been the top class. It's just occasionally top in a specific race. But so is Ranger.
Right.
Yeah. In centers, it's there. So those two are basically the worst classes: Ranger / Marauder.
Right.
I mean, Scion, and I don't know what you call Scion. Scion's like weird or something. So, oh boy. Want to buy racing very, very badly. That's all I could say. I really hope. Here's another good question. I didn't ask. Have you bought any supporter packs or anything, MrLlama?
I bought the currency tab.
Oh, nice.
That's the first thing that I've purchased.
It's a good choice.
Very good choice.
Yeah. So it was one of those, like, I was looking at it, I was like, oh my god, I need something for this crap. I don't want to. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was like, I've thrown in whatever 20, 30 hours into this game now. I don't mind throwing $10 at it. Like, you know, why not? I'll probably end up dropping more money than I want to admit on this game if I continue.
Don't buy anything, or maybe if you wanted to buy something now, I guess take a look. But there will be access to the beta for 3. I mean, I guess we have to see what happens with all
3.0 beta.
The 3.0 beta, I actually kind of wish. So I'm part of Alpha, the like testing thing. Right. I really wish no one got to test it, not because like conspiracy theory, I want to keep it exclusive, but because even for me, it ruins the release of that patch for me. You know, if I play it a lot, and so the 3.0 beta might get played a lot, so then it's like, I don't know. Anyway, but the thing is, most streamers are probably gonna have access and/or doing whatever. But they'll be.
So are you saying you have to pay your way into the beta? Like you buy a spot?
You can. Possibly. You might be able to talk to Bex.
Don't know yet.
But we don't know yet. We don't know.
I might get the streamer bump.
Yeah.
Get the streamer bump. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be nice.
If you talk to them, you would get it for free. So, but I'm just saying, if it doesn't work out, buy the smallest pack of the next packs, which is like usually $25, and you get beta access. So
I gotta admit, the communication between like streamers and devs and all that is really cool. Like, I love that that's a thing. Yes. Like I had a hardcore character and it died, and I just sent them a message. I was like, hey, it was kind of laggy, and they just restored it. You know, it's like it's super cool that they'll interact with you in those ways, and just, you know, they really care about the community. And I'm just
you're trolling.
I'm screwing. Yeah, I just want the chat.
Were you uncertain just for a little bit?
I wasn't concerned at all. Well, because first of all, unfortunately, they did actually do that at one point, and it turned into a whole debacle. So people still flip out about that. So, but it was good. It was a good troll. I was like, what's he talking about here?
It happened in Diablo 3 though. So I went to Gamescom. Blizzard flew me over with Quinn. He's this like, you know,
Quinn's played PoE a lot.
Yeah, he's this small little streamer guy who just
everybody knows. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So they flew us over there, and Quinn was playing D3, and we're sitting there, and like they've got all our machines set up, and we're playing right there, and it was the coolest experience ever. And his computer blew up, basically. Like, it didn't like physically blow up in a way, but it blacked out and like fried while he was in the middle of playing, and his hardcore character died. And there was like the biggest discussion for the next like 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it was of, do we restore the character? Because they never restore characters ever.
Never.
But they flew us there to like a Blizzard sponsored event, and on their Blizzard sponsor computer that they built for Quinn,
blew up
and killed his character. And so they ended up restoring his character, and there was a whole debacle over all that, and you know, streamer favoritism and whatever. But it was like the most like, everybody's just like, I guess we have to, like, we killed his character. So like they, you know, the Diablo people there called up the Diablo devs and were like, all right, we know this is the weirdest request ever, but we have to have you guys roll this back because we did this. Like,
well, so did you play D2 from launch, like from when D2 came out?
I've played D2 from launch off and on. So, you know, I started when it came out. I'd switch between that and StarCraft back and forth. And then eventually I went and played some Dota, you know, Warcraft 3 style. And then I played some like StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and then 2.5 years ago I went back into Diablo 2 again and just kind of really hit it hard.
I mean, I only ask because back, I don't know, if some people, it seems like people remember, people don't, but there was a Y2K hack of BattleNet for Diablo 2 hardcore characters where they figured. So I talked to my friend someone who participated in the hack because I was describing it wrong. Right. So what they would do is, like my character was like, I think 9th or 8th on the ladder. So they would, first of all, my character's name is the dumb, like listening to me say it right now, I'm embarrassed. My character's name was like X more Dick X or something.
Right.
And
mine was like XXX 420 Blaze it. Yeah.
Right, 420 Legolas Blaze it. Right. So what they would do is they'd create a character on US West if you were on US East, and then they would try to transfer the character over, which apparently is something they let you do. So you could transfer from US West to US East. So they would just create the character on US West because the name is taken on US East, and then transfer the character over. And then if they did it enough times or they kept trying, it eventually would let them through. So then they would just be logged into just that character, but they weren't logged into your character. Yes, but they weren't logged into your account, which is why they weren't able to delete people's like mules with, you know, my mule of FG, RG, GG, which had all my crazy stuff on it. That never got touched, but they could log into your character. And so they stripped everyone's character's gear off and then killed off the characters, then deleted the character. I would delete it. So then that's why Blizzard had a rollback. Right. So even though they said they can never restore characters, there was a rollback. And
well, you can always restore. I mean,
you can
unless you literally have no backup, right? Like,
unless you have no backup, right? Yeah.
You have no server backups. What kind of company would they be without a server backup?
Right. It's just funny though to think that they have a backup of Quinn's character an hour ago. I remember this so specifically because I had grinded over Christmas break, because I was in high school at this point. I grinded over Christmas break my character from 83 to 86, and I was so fucking happy. I was in the top 10, all this great stuff. And then this thing happened, and so Blizzard's like, well, unfortunately, we have to roll back because there's this hack, and all these people lost all our stuff. So you have a choice. You can not restore your character, and you get to keep it in the current state. I had no gear, so I couldn't do anything. Right. Or you can restore. So the restore point was like December 14th or December 16th, because I only backed up once a month or something.
So all your progress.
All the progress was gone from all of Christmas break. And I played it was my first real hardcore gaming session of my life. It was like 12 hours a day over Christmas break. I'd be playing, and I was like, oh, this is why hackers should be shot just in the face. That's it. Okay. But no, I mean, it's just so funny whenever these companies say we will never restore, and then they end up doing it. And I think Chris regrets it because it was a bug in PoE, the Carrion Queen bug, where these Carrion Queens, fireballs, they do like 100 damage.
A bunch of characters.
They had a decimal point in the wrong spot or something.
So it did like
10 times so much or something.
Yeah. So it killed every character that encountered them. So
it's one of those. I mean, they can always restore, right? There are always hot backups running on all of these servers, and at any point they have all of the archive files and all of these save states that they can go back whenever they want. But that's not a precedent you ever want to set, right? No. Like that is to be reserved in the case, and I love that they never do, with the very rare exceptions. You know, I think Quinn's character, very rare exception that should be done.
Yeah, but it was on them, right? The fault could be traced back to them as a company.
Right. It went back to them as a company, their machine that they were providing, you know.
See, now, why was Quinn on his hardcore character? Because, you know, like let's just say I was as famous as Quinn and GGG flew me out to something. Right. I wouldn't be on their fucking computer, on their connection, on my hardcore character.
Because it was a solid connection, I mean, it was like a really nice setup. They didn't give us like crappy laptops. They gave us like dope setups. It was just like so powerful that it self-imploded kind of in a way. I think, I can't remember. I think it was the power supply, just like, you know, crap the bed. Or no, it was the video card, because the power was still on and it left them, but it like blacked out the screen and stuff. So the video card just like, you know, destroyed itself.
See, now if he was playing PoE, he could use the logout macro, which of course people are like, logout macro is bullshit, but it would save him in that situation. Spam his logout and he would log out.
I mean, yeah, Diablo 3, even if that, I mean, the problem is you have that 5-second delay.
5 seconds.
You have that 5 seconds of you have to wait. So regardless of what happens, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure we pushed the power button immediately, but it wasn't going to change anything.
What's your feeling on logout macros? Do you think that, because I kind of hate that, can I just say, here's my spiel. D3 sucks, okay? But yet people want that logout system here in PoE. Now, maybe you want to say PoE system could be improved. Right. Fine. You can improve. I can improve myself. We can improve the world. There's everything can be improved. But I mean, why are we trying to bring D3 into PoE? That's what I always hate. They're like, well,
I like how it works in Diablo 2, where you can save quit, but it's based on your own reaction time. Right. There are monsters that can essentially one-shot you, or, you know, you jump into a group of extra strong lightning enchanted, cold enchanted dolls,
you kill yourself
with another like might aura from a following pack next to you, and you have like maybe like 0.3 of a second to like exit out of this game before you're dead. I like having that as my own reaction time, where I got to go, oh God, and get out.
Okay.
If, you know, if there's a logout macro, why play hardcore? Like, why bother, in my mind, almost. It doesn't make sense to me, because then it's just like the whole point of it is, if you're always going to be saved, then what's the point? The point of it is to have that fear.
Wait.
It's another skill, kind of, you know?
Wait, well, I think can I just say you're saying that you're like, how do you exit the game? You press escape and then what? And then you
press
exit
escape
the game.
and then you click the button, save and exit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's a huge thing. It's a third of the screen.
Right. I like it being bigger. I don't like how tiny it is in PoE either, because I'm
there's like 78. Right. There's 78 other options.
I'm like reading the options. I'm like, save and exit to this. Click for the options. Adjust your hold up.
Microtransaction.
Exit the entire game. You know, I don't like reading through all the things. Like now I know like second from the bottom. I'm pretty sure it is. So that's like the one I click. I'm like, oh God, just click that. But it's so tiny. Even there, you have to be like so precise in your. Whereas, you know, Diablo 2, you get a little bit larger for your click, but yeah, I think the macro is dumb, because it's just if you're gonna have a macro, what's the point? Like, it doesn't.
Is it okay to alt F4 then? If alt F4 would do the same thing, would that be okay?
If what?
If you could just alt F4, if that did the same thing instead of exit, and then like when is it not okay and when is it okay?
I think alt F4 is fine too. Once again, that is based on your own.
Yeah, okay, because now you're.
No, it's still the same thing.
But how is that different from a macro? Because you're just using a Windows command.
But is it a 2-button thing or is it a 1?
Okay, so it has to be 2 buttons. So if you could have a logout macro, those 2 buttons, it's okay.
Maybe.
I just want to, because
no, it's a slippery slope, and the problem is
it is.
The thing is, the reason we went to the TCP logout is because doing exit to character, login, exit path of exile, unless you kill the connection, which, you know, alt F4 is supposed to do it, but that can brick. You're just sitting in game for sometimes up to like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I might be confusing this with a chicken script.
Oh, no, this is not a chicken script.
Oh, this is not a trick. You have to. I have to hit my button to log.
Okay.
People die.
Yes.
People, you have the logout macro and die all the time.
Okay.
Of course, there are
See,
people
that's a
who
little different for me. That's a little different. And you know what? Maybe if they change that escape menu to be a little bit better,
yeah,
I wouldn't, mind it as like that would be better.
Like I famously died clicking microtransaction shop. Famously,
I've done that as well.
Right.
And so I'm just like, even then I was like, well, I don't really want to install the macro because the macro doesn't do anything for me. All the macro used to do was move your mouse to login, exit to whatever, and click. So it wasn't any better than you doing it yourself, because you shouldn't be logging out because it was completely unreliable, because it could leave you in game for 5 seconds when you should try to run away at TP to town or something. That's what I always believed. Right. But then since then, unfortunately, even though Pee-wee's gotten much better as a game, they actually introduced so much more stuff that there's all this MTX and all stuff that crashes. Like last league, I crashed the desktop more, and I've been playing for 6 or 7 years. I crashed the desktop more than I've ever by a factor of 10. And the logout macro, because it kills your connection to PoE, even if you're not in game, like the game is blue screened or whatever.
Right.
So I'd say that saved me 100%, because I would crash, it would go PoE stop working, I'd spam the logout macro, and I'd get logged out, because people would be like, wow, you logged out already. And so, but yes, chicken script, by the way, don't install a chicken script, you will get banned. People
should get banned.
People get away with it because they have a new version of it, and so GGG has to update their anti-cheat stuff. So yeah, you will get away with it 100% until they catch you, and then your account's gone.
Right. So I mean, I'm totally against that. The logout macro, I think it's a slippery slope a little bit.
Sure.
That's fair. So I'm never really a fan of any sort of macros within games, kind of, and that's maybe a purist view of it a little bit, and I know there's a lot of people who love having all their macros, but like for me it's like I want every deliberate key to be a deliberate key, a deliberate action. That's not just, oh, this will take me through and do these 3 things. But at the same time, when you say things like, well, this one is the only way, because I get that crash to desktop plenty of times, and like if that's the only reliable way to destroy my connection between myself and PoE and save my character,
it's the only macro I use.
Once the game dies, you're prompted with like a Windows thing, and you have no control over your character in game.
Right. For up to 5 seconds. Sometimes you exit right away, but sometimes you don't.
Right. I get that. Okay. So like in that case, that's something GGG needs to fix, and because in that case you need the macro.
Because I played without the macro for like
unfair against you.
Right. Exactly.
Because for me, on a personal level, I played without any macro, and I was a purist for a long time until I finally got fed up with crashing.
He has tons of crashes on his computer. Yeah, whatever.
And so I decided, well, I'm kind of fed up with this, so now I'll just take this extra step to prevent that as much as I can.
Right.
And Noogie's in fact a really good example of why I think that people blow it out of proportion, because Noogie died this league using the macro. And again, this is not a criticism of Noogie. In this specific instance, he played suboptimally, and when I died on Fury, I played suboptimally. I mean, so you can and he still died using the macro. So it's not like this thing. It's not like I don't know what it is. It's not the golden fleece. Jason, the argument, the golden fleece is going to protect you from all the monsters. No, you're still going to die if you do something wrong. So I think that's why it's okay. Maybe it can be improved. I think if GGG gave us a logout command that's bindable, right, and designed by them, because they acknowledge that this is the game. It's in the spirit of D2, and you could do that. But also, it's not 1999. It's 2017. So we have to improve and update some of these things. Well, there you go. That's a simple. I think they don't want to do that, because then that forces people to acknowledge, even if they're really, because there are people out there who are like purists to the point of they're like evangelists. Yes, like, oh, this is you're such a pussy, or all this bullshit. Watch, okay, all right,
whatever. Save and exit. I all the time. Oh my god, so many times on my YouTube videos, they'll be like, "Nice save and quits, noob. Shouldn't even count as speed run." What is this? I have to refresh the maps, literally between normal, nightmare, and hell. You have to exit the game and go into the next, you got to restart the.
That's right. I forgot about that. You can't just keep going, right?
Yeah, no. Transition. It literally kicks you out, and you have to go back in. It automatically save and exits between the different difficulties. So you can't even stay in it. That is built into the game.
Okay. And people are still pissed. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, they'll always be pissed. You know,
that's YouTube. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Yeah. Well, so it's interesting to hear you say that, because I do think that that's one thing I'm hoping that GGG sort of takes a look at, is some of that stuff, because people are getting really agita about some of these things, because GGG has been content to just like, well, you guys handle it, right? You guys decide. And I think that that's good, but then if they have the technology or they have the whatever to just figure it out, then it's better. It's really better for everyone involved if they, because if people are unsure about the TCP macro, because I could see how people would be unsure about it, but if you have a macro that hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your keyboard at the same time, that's illegal.
Exactly.
I don't know how they detect that. To be perfectly honest,
I think there's a stigma just on the word macro, because it implies all these things.
That's the slope. That's the slippery slope. Where does it stop?
Right, because it really should just.
Okay, now you have it set up. Do you do that and it hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all at the same time?
In my ideal world, whenever you macros of any kind doesn't exist, but we can't have that right now, unless the game works perfectly.
Right. Every game has macros, right? As a computer, how could you ever get rid of macros? There'd be no way to do that, right?
Right. I mean, macros are I'm pretty sure they can even be just undetectable in a way.
For instance, I know that mine are undetectable. It's my fucking keyboard doing it. How would they ever detect that?
Right.
And I could even build it in so there was like a millisecond of time between putting the thing. So how would you ever I hit one button and it does like I just copies what I typed for the last 5 seconds. So I don't really understand. I don't think that's why it's really bad to make a rule that's a bad rule that people aren't going to follow, because then it just leads people to doing other things.
Right. And that's why I just like banning macros. Fix this problem and then macros be gone. And that's it.
Yeah.
If you're caught using a macro, you're banned. Done, Yeah.
I
don't know. In my mind.
No, I think that's good. I mean, I'm all for it as long as they solve these things where the macros. It used to be you had to have a macro for OOS because desync was so bad, and you had to be able to hit OOS to fix where your character was. So for the longest time, people were like, well, using a macro is bullshit. Yeah, well, I didn't design their netcode, so what do you want from me? Right. And smart use of OOS, you couldn't spam it, although for a little while you could, and people blew up their servers.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Oh my god. It was terrible. But so you could do it like once every 10 seconds or something. And actually, I missed that a little bit because smart use of the OOS button as a racer was like actually a huge skill, to be perfectly honest, to understand how desynced you were. Now, maybe that might be an Iron Maiden sort of thing where it's just bullshit. And I get that. But there still is a skill. Like there was something there.
It's the same thing. As a purist, I would say, well, you're using the OOS macro when you could play your character around never having to use it in the first place. Because you could do that. There were tricks in the game where you could like twirl a little bit in the circle so you can reposition your character. And if you were like on one corner and you thought you're in the middle, but if you're like just circling around the middle, your character's going to walk from the corner towards the middle, and now you resync yourself. Right, and as a purist, you just say, well, that's how you have to do it, and you can't use the OOS macro or whatever, or in-game command.
The game just needs to be fixed. That's all. They just need to fix the game. Like that's, there shouldn't be a debate even on it.
No. So until it's fixed, you just have to accept the fact that you have these extra tools that we just use. At least that's my.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm done. I'm gonna go take a break and watch some league or something. But it was good. It was great talking. I guess this has been a good chat after the podcast. I guess we should just upload this. We should upload this.
I'll do like an podcast and after the
extra thoughts. Yeah.
The extra thoughts. Yeah. The post show, I guess. Or whatever. But yeah, I really appreciate it. And so next time you're doing something, I'm gonna stop by your channel and troll a little bit. So
sounds good. I'll make sure to ban you.
Nice. Sweet. That's what I'm looking for. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Thanks again, Llama. It was great.
See ya. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.